White shirts on the pitch, running fast through the night. Every heart beating loud under floodlit sky bright. So to London, stand strong. In the stands they belong. Voices echo like thunder. To the club they sing along. Up in Spurs we arise. Eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. King's fire in his eyes. Glory's what he seeks. With every goal he flies, rising to new peaks. From the lake to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. From the lane to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. With all our might. With all our might.
Hi, good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die, home at Tottenham past, present and an exciting future under Ange Postecoglou with me, Dermot, aka Dermatron, and my usual co-host. I don't know what to call him tonight, but some say he swims in the sea and he eats Arsenal fans for breakfast. But all we know, he's called the Tottenham Stig. How are you, Stiggy, this evening?
Under the Sea. Isn't that the song? Under the Sea.
That's it, Under the Sea. But how are you, Tottenham Stig?
I'm okay. I'm a bit tired, but I'm all right. How are you guys?
Yeah, fine. And joining us tonight, well, is he Jose? Is he Jose? This is the big debate we're going to have tonight. This is one of the biggest questions in YouTube history. Is it Jose or Jose? But Jose, welcome to the show. You haven't been on for a while. Is this your debut tonight?
Yes.
It is. Well, very welcome to HFC. Welcome to the Madhouse. And thank you for coming on.
No worries whatsoever. Just to get it clear and out of the way straight away, my name is Jose, Spanish. Jose is Portuguese, but it's alarming because I've been on YouTube for a while now, and people still call me Elta. I'm not called Elta. I've never been called Elta. It's my channel, but I'm Jose. So it's just amazing that people still call you Elta. I'm just like, what? Okay. Whatever floats people's boats, really.
I still call you Eltel, I've got to be honest. Now I know better, so.
Well, I'm surprised with you because you know my name.
I know. I don't know why. It just stopped, didn't it? Eltel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Eltel Cockerell, Eltel won a manager. He was for Tottenham. Guys,
Yes.
This is going to be a bit of an interesting one tonight, guys. Is top four more important than winning cups? And it's an important question. And for me and us three sort of eras, well, for me, I've seen a lot of cups. I think Jose's always seen a lot of cups as well in your time. Poor old Tottenham Stig's only seen 2 cups, bless him. So, you've seen more Champions League than cups, Stiggy. So it is top.
Two league cups, Dermo. That's all I've got.
So, where are you on it? Where's your starting argument on it? Does it bother you? Are you just immune to it now?
I suppose it's one of those things where you just don't know any different. It's like, I'm told by a lot of people that Tottenham are a big club, and they are in a certain degree, but they don't win anything. And, they don't. In my mindset, it's I understand the history of the club, and I know that we used to win stuff, but as far as my Tottenham fandom is concerned, we don't. We're always the bridesmaids, never the bride. We're always, one or two players short of ever doing anything, and it rinses and repeats. That's why, that's why I have become a jaded Tottenham fan, and I fully admit that I am. Because it's been 25 years, 26 years now, probably of my fandom, most under Daniel Levy, and most have seen us, as I said, always standing outside the promised land, so to speak, never been allowed into the party, so to speak. Always on the outside looking in.
It's like going to the nightclub and getting chucked up by bouncers and not being allowed in on ladies' night. I mean, it's just it's just
pretty much
that's what you do every Thursday night.
I'm used to that one. Yeah.
Some say he does that. Anyway, very quickly before we quit in, big up to Weistai who become a YouTube member. Big up to you. Big up to Carl Simpson as well. And big up to Boris as well. Become a YouTube member. You can become a member. Hitting that members link and get to come on to our post-match live member shows. We are doing one this Saturday for England versus Ireland, or Ireland versus England. We're going to run the same. We're going to run a pre-match pump-up before the game. We're going to do the watch-along, and then we are going to do a post-match live afterwards. So come on, have your say. Win, lose, or draw. You're English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh. It doesn't matter. Come on and have your say. Let's see who's joining us tonight. We've got Carl Simpson. Big up, Carl. Good evening, gents. Hope you're all well. We are doing fine. Simply Yates. Big up, Simply Yates. Hello, everyone. Hello, Simply. We've got Milton Nogberg. Big up, Milton. Hope you're doing well in the middle of his night shift. Hope you, Dermo, Jose, and the Spurs Stig are doing well. Lots of love to you guys. Both your channels, my favourite. No, let me give you that one out, Stiggy, because I can't get my teeth around that one. Sorry.
Okay. I hope you, Dermo, Jose, and the Spurs Stig are doing well. Lots of love to you guys, and both your channels, my two favourite channels, THF Until I Die and he means LTEL, but it's called you LT. LT, it wasn't an American football player. I'm Portuguese, and my dad is also Jose. Okay.
Jose.
Cool.
Jose.
Sorry.
Jose. He's Portuguese.
He's saying cups are more important than top four.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah, it is actually. God knows, for supporting Spurs as long as I have, it gives me trophies. I beg you. Yeah, same here. And Simply LA says, I see cups more important, but I have given up completely. Don't ever give up.
I hear you.
Don't ever give up. Listen to the Dermatron. Do not give up. Now, listen. We are going to get onto that subject, but I want to start with Sunday and all this nonsense about Ange. I want a quick little survey between you guys. I know where we all stand on this. Stiggy, are you Ange in or Ange out?
I'm Ange in, but I have concerns.
Yeah. Jose?
What are your concerns, Tequila?
I'm not that impressed with the transfer window as far as like for this season. We've got lots of youngsters who could come good, but unfortunately the word is good, and it doesn't always work out that way. Our track record is mixed. I think it was Sava who asked us all to give 5 words to describe it, and I think I said bad tools for the job or something along those lines. So assuming that Levy's been given, Levy's told Ange that he wants top 4, which is most likely, it seems a tough ask for me. And I've always said that I don't want to fire another manager and start again. I want to give this manager at least another year, because I think that that's the only way you can really find out, is by giving someone a longer amount of time to build their team and also to build their ethos as well and drill it into the players. And you can't do that. Really, you can't do that under 3 years in my mind. So I'm Ange in at least for another year or so, but I'd be lying if I didn't have some serious concerns regarding his inability to. His inability with his tactics. I don't think you can play his way against some of the teams. I know you can play his way against maybe the Evertons and the Leicesters, but once you reach the big boys, I just don't think you can be so kind of gung-ho. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's willing to change, because he's and I respect somebody for sticking to their guns, dying on their sword. I actually respect people like that. But it may end up that exactly what does happen, is that he can't or isn't willing to change, and he'll die on that hill, so to speak. And that'll be that.
Look, I understand what you're saying. I sort of agree with half what you're saying. He does have to evolve. He does have to change. But I don't think. I think he will come good in the end. I think it will. It will come good in the end because Ange always look. We're not going to win the league. Let's be bluntly honest. We're not going to win the league. It's going to be Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool's going to win the league out of entry. So really, fourth place is up for grabs, and I think we can get fourth this year. Where we can win, and I agree with Ali McCoy this morning on Talk Sport. Ali McCoy was talking about this morning.
I didn't see it yet, but I've seen the. I know that he said something.
We have a team to win any cup. We rarely do. We have a team that can win a cup. And Jose, do you agree with that? Look, we're not going to win the league, and top four is there, but we do have a team to win a cup because I think we can.
Right. So I'm going to pick apart a few points, right? So for me, I look at what Tottenham did when they hired Ange Postecoglou. And when they hired Ange Postecoglou, they hired him on a 4-year contract. At the same time that Postecoglou was hired, some of the work and some of the foundations, if you like, had started to be embedded. To build a house, you need a strong foundation, don't you? And then you build the house there on top. So the foundations were being laid before Postecoglou came. And we can see the foundations very early in the building process at the moment. But the foundations were being built by the way that we changed the wage structures in the academy, by the way that we approached the academy through the way that they were going to play their football. You know, the wage structure, that we were going to poach better players from other clubs, bring them into our club, and we were going to build from within, so to speak. And you can see that's happened because as soon as that started happening, the 18s won a cup, then the 21s won their cup, and then the following season, the 18s became the 21s and won last year. And now all these players now gone out on loan and finding their feet, you know, in proper men's football now. And the new 21s now are a little smattering of players from last season still left over, but the 18s have come through to make the 21s this year. So there's continual involvement there. And I think that started off just before Ange was hired. Ange was then hired, given a 4-year contract. And if he's been given a 4-year contract, it's because it must be. I mean, I work for a living, and I have to be aligned with what my employer wants. I've got to be aligned with it. And I've got to be aligned with it. And then the people that are beneath me, because I manage a big workforce, they've got to be aligned in what we're doing as well. So to give them a 4-year contract, there must be an alignment saying that Tottenham within 4 years, they want to be doing X, Y, and Z. You must have a roadmap internally. We're not going to know this as fans, but there must be something there. And he's got given a 4-year contract. If you look at Jose Mourinho and if you look at Conte, they were given 18 months, 2-year contracts. So it was always going to be a short-term fix with them. With Pochettino was the one that was given a 5-year contract. But, you know, at the end of the day, there was a breakdown there between Pochettino and the people above him because we went two seasons without buying players. And then all of a sudden, when he made that statement about we've got a lovely new house, but we've got no furniture to go in it. And when all this happened, you know, that was the death knell for me. And then they got rid of Pochettino. So
I think, look, just very quickly, I think the death knell for me under Poch was the way we started the season after the Champions League final. And his talk within that build up to the Champions League final. If we win the Champions League, I may not be here. So he was already sort of looking ahead. But look, Conte was doing us a favour. Let's not. Conte came in for himself. He didn't come in for us. He came in for himself. I feel sorry for Jose Mourinho because we're 5 days away from winning the trophy. And he got sacked for there's rumours going around it was about the Super League. There's other rumours that he wouldn't rest players because of top 4. So there's conflicting reports why he got the sack. But look, Levy doesn't matter. He's signed managers on 3 years deal before and sacked them. So to Levy, that doesn't matter.
I don't remember though, Dermot, another manager apart from Pochettino during the Levy era being signed for a long-term contract. I don't recall a manager being signed for 4 or 5 years, other than Pochettino, who got given 1 5-year term.
Yeah. So why does why does have to have fan base want him out then?
Who out?
Ange out.
Okay, so for me, as I was saying, right, what I was saying about Ange was he's been given a 4-year contract. For me, that everything needs to align, or they all know what they want to do right going forward, because they discussed this, and so they know, but it's something they're not going to tell us. Now, with Ange, me personally, 'cause this is not factual, it's just a personal opinion. The first 3 games of this season, I feel that we're playing better and we look more, we're not the finished article, but we look more cohesive and in what we're trying to do than what we did in the first 3 games of last season. And we were unbeaten, right? Now, I think a lot of the people, Tequila's alluded to this, and a lot of people will turn around and say, right, that Ange is naive, this high line defending, there's all this stuff that's coming out from some fans, not all fans, but there's some fans that are coming out with all this and saying that he needs to learn X, Y, and Z. If I listen to all the negativity, and I am not a negative person, never have been in real life. So forget Tottenham. In real life, I'm not a negative person. I don't surround myself with negativity either. Now, if I listen to everything that people have got to say, then God, Ange would have been hung before he even started because of what people were saying. Now, for me, for me, the Premier League is fine margins. Always has been fine margins. I think the Premier League has got tougher every year that we've gone on. For me, I think the Premier League is condensing at the moment, whereby on the one hand, we turn around and we say, bloody hell, or me being a realist, I say, bloody hell, to get 3 points in the Premier League is really difficult because it doesn't matter who you're playing against in the Premiership, you're going to get a game. You don't get the disparity that you get in other leagues in the Premiership. Teams are harder to beat, and you need to earn your 3 points. So, on the one hand, I say that, but so do other people. And then, because you draw 1-1 with Leicester, it's the end of the world. Because we got beaten 2-1 by Newcastle, it's the end of the world. And I'm like, but if you look at what we've done, in them games, it's fine margins. If one shot goes in, if it doesn't come off the bar and it goes in the goal, you're already 2-0 up. At the end of the day, it's fine margins.
It is fine margins, and I always said it, you take your chances. If you don't take your chances, you don't win games. If you take your chances, you do. So, Tequila, look, I want to start with this question before we get into the other bits I've got. Does Levy need to be more open with the fans and what he's doing with the club? Does he need to be more truthful with us? Say, look, this is our plan, this is our roadmap, and this is where we're going. Do you think he has to be more open to people?
Well, I think he's probably delegated that to Lange, I suppose, who has done some press, hasn't he, recently, discussing the transfer window and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that he's delegated it. Should he? I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I do think that it's going to be one of the things that no matter what he says, he's going to get panned either way.
Yeah.
And that's not even me defending him, because I probably would be somebody pounding him, because I generally don't believe. I think he's proven enough, to me at least, that he probably can't be trusted. And as somebody who is is multi-millionaire, that doesn't surprise me that much. I don't generally believe what he said, and I think it's a stuff to do with the stadium that always rings a bell with me.
Yeah.
Is that, and those kind of promises that I don't think really have been kept. That is a debate, I suppose. Some people might think that he has, but
yeah.
And,
he did say, didn't he, Tequila and Jose? He did say at the time that the transfer around the time of Poch, that the transfer money was ring fenced, and then we didn't buy anyone for 3 windows. So if it's ring fenced, then where's the money? Where's the players to back Poch at that time? Because if he had backed Poch at that time, I think we would have gone on to be very successful under Poch. I really do. I think if Poch had the right backing and the right players, and the players have to take responsibility here as well for letting Poch down, for throwing them under the bus. They threw managers after managers under the bus. There's something about this group of players under Ange is I don't think they will throw Ange under the bus. They will give their all like they did on Saturday. And
a lot of them have been sold, Dermo. That's why a lot of them have been jettisoned.
And this is why I think the outgoings of the transfer window has been brilliant. And I did call the incoming awful because I wanted that big name player. I wanted that big name statement to really put us out there that, look, we're really going for it. Here's our main striker. And look, Solanke, me and Dakida were both a bit underwhelmed on Solanke. How did you feel about Solanke signing, Jose? Were you happy with it, underwhelmed, or how was your feeling when that news came with ball? Because I felt very underwhelmed by it.
So for me, we lost Harry Kane.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, Harry Kane was the only striker for nearly 10 years at Tottenham.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter who you bought in. And it really doesn't matter. So, and it's a lot of people out there will say we bought a load of crap to play up front around the time that we had Harry Kane. The reason why we bought a load of crap is because nobody wanted to come and play second fiddle to Harry Kane for the years. Now, for me, last season with the injuries we struggled up front, and we did because we had to take Sonny out and put him up front. And although Sonny scored goals, Sonny is not a centre forward.
No, it's not.
At the end of the day, I've been crying out for two forwards. So for me, I was happy with Solanke because I thought Solanke, if Richarlison stays, both of them will be champing at the bit to play. And if one plays, and runs his socks off for 70 minutes, then the other one comes on for the last 20. And then you're battling each other to try and get the starting berth as the number 9. However, in saying that, we went to Newcastle with not only Solanke and Richarlison injured, but also Will Lancashire, who's been kept behind to learn off these guys, who was injured as well. So we had no centre forward, and that's disappointing for me. Now, with regards to Solanke, look, you guys said about buying, I don't know, mega signing or a marquee name or someone that's known. I'll tell you this: when Liverpool bought Salah, Mane, and Firmino, they weren't statement signings because they weren't statement signings. The statement signing was Coutinho. When they bought Coutinho, he was a statement signing because he was the big name and the worldwide name. So a lot of the times you buy players because you think they're going to fit your system, they're going to do well for your club, and if they do, then their name becomes bigger. So now people say, look at Salah, look at Mane, look at Firmino. They now become household names because what they went and did after a few seasons of playing at Liverpool. Now we've brought Solanke in, and I'm hoping. Right, Solanke's no mug. We saw that last season, right? Now that he plays for us, we probably looked at him last season and people said, "Of course, Solanke's a player, isn't he?" And now that we've bought him, we've got people in the fan base saying, I'm not saying anyone here, I'm just saying people in the fan base are thinking, God, we could have done better than buying Solanke, couldn't we? But I look at it and I think to myself, well,
I said it last year. I said it last year. And I mean, look, I think we should have gone for Ivan Toney when we had the chance. I think Ivan Toney is more of a complete striker than Solanke. But whoever you buy after Harry Kane is never gonna be. Harry Kane was once a generational striker. He was a bit like Jimmy Greaves of Tottenham of the 60s. Harry Kane was our Jimmy Greaves. I've always said that, but I just felt Ivan Toney's more of a better striker than Solanke. Now, Solanke may prove me wrong, and he may grab 20 goals this season. If it does, I'll hold my hands up and say, I was wrong. Fair play to you. Behind you. He wears a Spurs shirt. I will support him. But I just felt we shouldn't.
Solanke will score goals for us, right? He will score goals for us. And what we're dying for, which we haven't had for 10 years, is competition up front, because we haven't had it for 10 years. If we're real about this, we haven't had it. So you could have had Llorente, Bergwijn, all these other players that people have bought in to play, right? None of them ousted Harry Kane. Harry Kane played, I'd say probably played 96% of the time when he was fit, played 96% of the games. None of them ousted him. Now we got to move on because Kane's left, unfortunately. And I'm now in a position that I'm happy that we've got strikers that will compete against each other and provide competition. So we should be getting the best at Tottenham each game. So if one striker's on fire, we're happy days. We're all happy. If that striker then needs to come off and the other one comes on to perform, happy days for us. But at the moment, we've got that, and I'm happy to have that, but it hasn't been proven because they've all bloody been injured, which is unfortunate.
It is. Tequila, do you want to say that before I get into the chat and welcome some more people in, and then we'll get talking about the show tonight?
I think for me, it's maybe I was lucky enough to see some of my favourite players, Berbatov, Keane, Defoe, and I look at my front line, with the exception probably of Sonny, and I just don't see the same quality. So maybe I was spoiled. I didn't realise at the time that maybe I was spoiled, but maybe I was, because I think our forward line's the weakest part of our team. It's weird. It's like it's switched. It's like I feel the defence is now the strongest part of our team, of our back five. And now I feel our forward line is the weakest. But if you've asked me a couple of years ago, it was the exact opposite. When we've got Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer and everything, and Lloris, and obviously coming to the end of his run, and our defence was the weakest part, but we still had Harry Kane and Sonny up top. So it's weird that it's kind of switched around on me, but that is what it is. Look, I got no problem with Solanke. I hope he's not a one-hit wonder. I hope he's not. Of course, I hope it's not. But there have been players like him who have had a wonder season, and then you haven't really seen them do it again. So that was my concern, and it was a lot of money. At least to me, it was a lot of money. People saying that 57 or what it ended up being, that maybe that's not that much anymore. Maybe that is what an average Premiership player costs, especially a striker. Maybe that is it now. It just feels crazy to me because I'm still remembering us selling Berbatov for 30 million and being like, wow. You know what I mean? So
who did we get in return for Berbatov? What was Fraser Campbell?
Fraser Campbell on loan, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we really got our pants pulled down then, that deal.
That's because we sold him on the last day of the window, so we needed to bring someone in. Yeah, so we didn't have time to bring someone in, did we? So
no. I want to say big up to John O. Tottenham have never been a trophy-winning club. You ain't a legacy club like United or Liverpool. Well, I beg of the difference. We are a trophy-winning club. We were the first team to win an FA Cup as a non-league club back in 1901. We're the first team to do the double last century. We were the first British team to win a European trophy. We're the first British team to win 2 European trophies. We won every trophy between 1951 and 1991. We won a trophy every decade. In the 60s, we won, hang on, let me get this right, 61, 62, 63, 4 trophies in the 60s. We won 3 trophies in the early 70s. We won 3 trophies in the early 80s. You know what? We may not be a league team, but we are a big cup side. Tottenham have won trophies, and we've done more than United. United won a European Cup, but we were the first team to win a European trophy in Europe. The first British side, before even Celtic won the European Cup in 1967. When they was it 67 or 68? How about 67's in my head? United won it in 68, did they, or 69 against Benfica?
United won the European Cup in 68 at Wembley.
Yeah, so Celtic won it. Yeah, Celtic won 67 then, because Celtic won it the year before. So do you know what? I think we are a big club. We are a trophy winning club.
Kuva's put a comment in there.
I am going to get to it.
Okay.
Big up to Boris, even gents. Hope you all. Also, be like Boris, pick up your memberships as well. Big up Boris is a member, so do pick up your membership. Simply Ace. If Ange wants a longer career at Spurs, he needs to adapt to have an achieve a top 4 finish and trophies. If he don't, then it's going to be very difficult for him to be here beyond this season. He will adapt. He will evolve. I know he will. And Ange will prove to be.
Well, where's your evidence of that, Dama?
I've seen what he's done.
It's a belief. I understand the belief, but I mean,
I've seen what he's done. I've seen what he's done through his career. I've seen what he's done up in Celtic. When he joined Celtic, Celtic were a mess.
Yeah, but Celtic only have got one rival.
No, I'm sick of hearing that. I am sick of hearing that.
It's true, though, isn't it?
No, you still got to beat what's in front of you. In
Yeah,
the
but he's
Scottish
only
League.
got one. He's only got one rival who's got
I
similar
don't care. You still
resources
got
to him.
Yeah, but you still got to beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, but he's
You
only got
still
one
got to
rival with one resources, dude.
Yeah, but Keely, you still got to beat what's in front. They still got to go away to Kilmarnock or Aberdeen or Motherwell. Yeah, Rangers and Celtic are the only 2 wins in the Scottish League.
Yeah, but my point is that do you think he had to adapt his tactics to win the Scottish League?
No, he's played the same everywhere he's gone.
Okay,
he's tweaked it a touch everywhere he's gone.
Tweaked it his
but his philosophy's always been the same.
It's always been the same everywhere he's gone.
You don't think that might be an issue when playing in the Premiership against the tippy top managers and the tippy top players?
No, okay. If a manager starts bowing down and changing his philosophy, then I don't think he's a manager.
I'm not saying he has to bow down. It's an adaptation. It's not ceasing your philosophy. It's just an adaptation.
You can still have a philosophy and evolve, and that's what I think Andrew do. Andrew will evolve in the Premier League.
But I'm just asking based on what?
I just don't think he will.
So it's a belief then. There's not actual evidence behind it. I just want to know.
It's my belief.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. No, it's fine, dude.
Boris says we all already played 100 times better, as Joseph said. Of course we have against Newcastle, considering the last 2 times. The last 2 times we got beat 4-1 and 6-1 and only 2-1. If we had an out 9, we could have won. I think we should have won. We took our chances. Big up to Round Table Talk. Evening all. Big up Round Table. Goober 99. Big up Goober. Evening all. If we need a better squad to win things. We need a better squad for top 4. We need the top 4 to pay for a better squad. I'll give up. Get the D&D rule books out and forget this football luck. No,
agreed.
Football over D&D any day. Big up to Milton. Milton, yeah, I'm doing good. Just £48.37 out of my bank. But besides that, I'm great. Last mate, I hope you're doing well. We're talking to each other. Where we're going? Where am I going? Have I lost it? I have lost it. Yeah, I have. Cycling through managers isn't the model. It isn't. We need stability, and is what we need. All top clubs have that. And that's one of the questions I got is about stability. Simply Ace, willing to give Solanke a chance, but I would have gone for Ivan Toney. I think a few people are saying that, to be fair. If they start finishing more of the chances they create, we will be dangerous. But until then, we have double-digit shots every game and maybe score 2. I think how Tottenham have started this season, and I agree with Jose on this. I really do. We are 100 times better than we were last season. We're more playing the Tottenham way. We're more playing the attacking football that we've grown up and watched over the years at Tottenham. We've never been a defensive side, Tottenham. We've always been an attacking side. And I just feel what Andy's building now at Tottenham will take us to the promised land. He will get us there. He will get us. He might not win this league, but he definitely can do well in Europe and win one of the cups. He really can. Big up to Terry White as well. Big up, Terry. 19, these are lottery numbers for you, Tequila. Write these down for you, sir. 19, 6, 29, 15 are the last 4 years of Solanke's goals. That's at the age of 25. That is at age
he meant 22 to 25, yeah.
25. He isn't a one-hit wonder. He knows how to finish. He's had one game out of. Do you know what I like about Solanke? And what I do admire about him? He had a setback after Liverpool. And how he's come back from that setback at Liverpool to rebuild his career, to do what he's done in Bournemouth. He's got another chance at a big club. And I think he's ready for it now. I think he's ready for this challenge now. I really do think he's ready for it now, and he may prove us all wrong.
Round table talk. How many of those stats are in a Premiership?
Yeah, but I'm going to throw some water over what you guys have said, what you said as well, Tequila, especially Ivan Toney. The last 6 months, because he only played the last half of the season, didn't he? Because he was banned, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Solanke's are done by here because Solanke scored far more goals in him in the season and in the last 6 months than what Toney did. I don't know whether Toney even registered 3 goals, since he came back, and yet Toney was taken with England to the European Championships, and Solanke wasn't. And Solanke scored hatfuls of goals compared to Toney. And the other thing is that Toney has ended up going to Saudi Arabia. So it tells me something that no clubs went in for Tony. It just says something, smacks in the face straight away.
Yeah, it's probably his attitude. I think that was pretty well known, wasn't it? That he's got an
Yeah.
attitude issue.
And he didn't score goals when he came back. He only scored 3 or 4 goals since he's come back.
His head was completely gone. He was just thinking about his next payday because of the whole. He didn't even show remorse really for the gambling thing. So I didn't particularly want him at Spurs either, and I don't know why people seem to think it was a choice between just those two, because I had some people who were telling me some nonsense about he had to be English, which ended up being ridiculous and not true. So there was plenty of options. I mean, look, it is what it is. Solanke's here. Wasn't my choice, but you know, I'm happy to be proven. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
But when I call him a one-hit wonder, I keep saying this. Obviously, I don't think this dude was here, but you know, Bobby Zamora scored loads of goals in the Championship as well.
Right. So have you heard of Gyökeres of Sporting Lisbon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. 1 season wonder in the Championship, and then got his move to Sporting Lisbon. So he's had 1 season. Only 1 season he's had at Sporting Lisbon. Right. Before that 1 season wonder, what did Gyökeres do? Next to nothing. Yet there was all this hype about Gyökeres is brilliant. He'll fit the system. He's fantastic. Blah blah blah. Well, no one went in for Gyökeres either. So. And I'm talking any club. There's no clubs that actually bid for Gyökeres either.
Who's the striker we were after last January? What was his name? Oh, there was a striker in Europe we were after.
Gift
Orban.
That's it. What's he done?
He's gone to Lyon and he's doing nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
He hardly gets a start. Gets a start.
Yeah. Look, it's hard. Look, Harry Kane, it's hard to follow a legend. And it's always hard to find the right striker to fill their shoes. He's got big shoes to fill, but let's see if he will fill them. Big up to Cuba, 12 major trophies between 61 and 91 is true. It's a decent haul, it is. It's not true that we've never been a trophy-winning club. It's came from Sugar in the Levy years. We've been awful. One thing I'll say about Alan Sugar, and I've always said it, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had a football club. If he didn't come in and put his money where his mouth is, we wouldn't be here today talking about Tottenham Hotspur, because there wouldn't be a Tottenham Hotspur, because we were close to going to the wall. We had an injured player, Paul Gascoigne, who we were depending on to pay back the 8 million in debt that we owed Midland Bank, who was ready to call in that. And whatever you think of Alan Sugar and Terry Venables, them two saved our football club. And even though the Sugar years was unique, as I like to call them. I mean, the best bit is hiring Christian Gross, and when him coming in saying, him being happy, he got a travel card. I mean, Jose, you remember that? Do you remember the look on Alan Sugar's face when he did that? And it was like, I watched it the other day, and it was like, oh, do you know when you have that moment? Oh, feck, I think I might have caught top here. Do you know?
Yeah, all he had to look is where Christian Gross came from and what Christian Gross had done before that, and you know
what he's done after.
Yeah, what he did when he came to Tottenham, and he disappeared straight after Tottenham, didn't he? So
he did. Look, I will always give Alan Sugar credit for saving our football club and actually saving us. I don't think everything he did was right. I don't think he did. I think the 2 good things Alan Sugar did was save our football club, and also the year we were banned from the FA Cup, got the points deductions and the fine. Do you remember for the irregular payments? He got us back into the FA Cup and he got our points deductions back. And that was the year Jerry Francis came in, took us to the semi-final with Jurgen Klinsmann, I think, that year.
To get anything back from the FA back then was really, really difficult, because they had David Dean from Arsenal on the board.
That's it.
So it was really difficult to try and get anything over the FA from Tottenham because of Arsenal's influence. But
he was the man that got the Premier League, because he was the one. This is true story, Tequila. There were the Football League, the ITV and BBC came in with some. I think, Jose, please back me up in this. If I'm right in this, if I remember, and I was only a young teenager at the time. And he came in and they gave a ballpark figure of how much they were going to give the clubs, and the clubs were happy with that. Alan Sugar went out, rung up Sky, who was selling their dishes at the time for Amstrad, and
Yeah.
said, right, just blow them out the water. Sky came in and blew them out the water. That is why all the games are now on Sky, thanks to Alan Sugar. Because
Yeah. It was to do with his link ups with Amstrad and all that. Yeah, it was.
So thank you, Alan Sugar, for putting everything on pay TV. And it is down to him. He went out, he said, blow them out the water, lads. And they did. But he saved our football club, and the year he got us back in the FA Cup. I thank him for them two things. But was he the worst chairman in the world? I don't think he was. I don't think he was the worst chairman in the world. Here's a question. Would you have Alan Sugar back as chairman if you knew what Daniel Levy was going to be like?
Are you asking the question? Are you asking the question?
You first and then Tequila.
Okay.
If you knew what Levy was like now, and you were given an option, right? You can have Sugar back to get rid of Levy, or you keep Levy. What would you do?
You haven't got into the nitty gritty of the show yet, because then you'll understand my answer. But if I give my answer now, then it's no point asking me the nitty gritty of the show after.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So
you're going to tease us then.
Yeah. Well, no, because if I say what I say now, then it kind of gives away the questions that you might ask about top four.
I know I've got loads of questions, so I can skip that.
Okay,
I've got loads of questions.
So for me, right? For me, we are on a stable footing. At the end, we're on a stable footing now with the bald bean counter, as I call him. We're at a stable footing as a club, but people are going to say, right, that he penny pinches and stuff like that. But we spent so much money. It's just that we've spent it badly. It's not as if we haven't spent money, because we have. We've just spent it badly. Under Sugar, though, we bought some notable players.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, under Sugar, we did buy some notable players, and under Levy, we have bought and spent a lot of money, but we obviously haven't bought the type of players, I don't think, that we bought that Sugar bought in, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
But,
it does.
But to me, it's put it this way: if Sugar was in charge of the club, I don't know whether we'd be any better off. But the one thing is that you'd have your club, because Sugar was. Levy can say he's a Tottenham supporter through and through, but Sugar definitely was.
Yeah, he saved the club.
Sugar definitely was a Tottenham supporter.
Yeah, he was,
and still is a Tottenham supporter. But
is he still a season ticket holder? I think he still is, actually.
I don't know whether he is, because I think that he's a bit. I think I'm right in saying that he's been scathing about some of about Daniel Levy in the past.
Yes.
So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I mean, if he is, I certainly haven't seen any pictures of him at the stadium and that. And when he does, he does that program, don't he?
Oh, The Apprentice.
That's the one.
You're fired.
And on The Apprentice, I've heard him over the years on The Apprentice make comments referencing Tottenham and other bits and pieces, like little slide digs and little slide comments. They get a chuckle across the boardroom.
Yeah. The same question to you, Tequila. Would you have Sugar or Levy?
I don't know. Do you remember Sugar being?
I think he does.
Tequila sounds like he's only been about while Levy's been here.
Yeah, I came into it just before our first League Cup one. So
it's just before Levy.
When I first started supporting Spurs, George Graham was our manager. So that's how
Alan Sugar was chairman then.
Yeah, it's just before Levy then. Yeah, it would be.
So like 99% of the time has been under Enoch, and that's probably why I'll go with Sugar, because I'm just desperate for something new.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm desperate of the same old, Danny boy. I just want something new. I'll be honest, I do.
He did, and big up the Cuba 67. Erwin says, might get backlash saying this. Big up Erwin, legend of the channel, says, but why are we content with fourth every year? Why not go all the way? Yes, I would love to win a few trophies, but frustration. We say fourth is good. Yeah, it is. It is very frustrating. The evidence is throughout his career. Winning in a salary cap league cannot be overlooked. There's a lot up here going on. Well, listen, guys, there's a comment here, I think, from Sugar. This was it. Sugar knew he had to dip into his pocket for top players like Klinsmann and Popescu and etc. He did. And one thing I will say about Alan Sugar, he was not everyone's cup of tea, but I think he put the club's interest first. He knew what the fans wanted. He always gave what the fans wanted.
He was a fan. He was a fan.
Yeah,
so always has been.
Big up the Knight of Republic. Big up, brother. He says, I back on all the way. But the club, we need to keep one eye on the future, keep improving the squad. Can't expect Ange to do wonders with the squad. Poch, Jose, and Conte had an influence on. So true. Right, I will go back here. Now, I found this little article June today. It was on, I got this actually off Chris Cowlin. Big up to Chris Cowlin. Everyone go over to his channel. Good Spurs channel as well.
No, I'm good. Thanks, Demo.
What?
Chris Cowlin's channel. No, I'm good. No, thanks.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I had to say that because it's on his community page.
Demo does not speak for everybody. That's all I'm going to say.
No, Demo, Tequila has his own opinions, and the Tottenham Stig does not speaks for his own opinions. This is some say that Tottenham Stig doesn't speak for everyone.
I could be Chris Cowlin himself, Demo. How do you know? I could be.
That's true. You could be. The net spend table in the past 5 years, Spurs are the fourth on the list. Chelsea have just spent nearly $1 billion. Man United have spent 547 million, and look where they are. Arsenal spent 469 million, and Tottenham spent 458 million. Tottenham's net spend since the 2021 season includes purchases of the likes of Solanke, Richarlison, Johnson, Romero, Maddison. So, to say managers haven't been backed, it's not really. They have been backed. They're just, as I think you said, Jose, we spent it badly. We spent it badly when we did have the money. So, but the fourth, what do you reckon to that list, Tequila? The fourth on the list.
Yeah, I'm not that shocked. And it's like when you say backed, though, Demo, that just means financially backed. That doesn't actually mean they backed the manager, because you have to look at how many of those signings were wanted by the manager. How many of these signings were quote unquote the club signings that we've all heard about? And the biggest example, the most blatant example, thanks to Conte, say what you want about him, but he did show Daniel up a couple of times, which is probably why he didn't last long. Is that he pretty much got Jed Spence and was just like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. And he didn't play him once, I don't think. Maybe he came on at the 80th minute or something once. And so yeah,
maybe he thought he was getting a top player. Conte didn't understand what Levy was telling him. You're getting this player. He probably thought he was getting Roberto Carlos or somebody like that sort of player, and then he gets Jed Spence. You
wonder if Conte even knew who he was. I mean, I know the Conte obviously you'd think watches a lot of football, but he probably doesn't watch every single match. You wonder if he was like who? Some right back from the Championship, huh?
Yeah. Big up Simplay says, thank goodness for Klinsmann. That's true. He came back and saved us that season, or we may have been in low depths of English football. Yeah, that's so true. And Kuva says, Sugar is a genius. How he became a multi-millionaire selling that absolute laughable tech junk is a miracle. Do you know what, Kuva? I absolutely agree with you. How the hell he made any money is selling his tech junk is unbelievable. And here's a legend. This man, Jose, right? This man is a legend. If you haven't heard the story, this man threw a TV out the window because Ian Walker made a cock up and was laughing. So Wilton got the TV and chucked it out the window.
Fantastic.
He didn't injure anyone. This man is a legend. He's seen it all, but he's a legend in my eyes. It says most of the people who call themselves Tottenham supporters, that's true, do even know the history of the club. They are largely unaware of what you said, Dermot. Thank you very much, Wilton. Regarding to Mr. Sugar and Venables, that is so true. That is so true. Look, now Champions League is top four. All it is. Sorry. Go on, Tequila, run through them years.
Okay. Champions League under Danny Boy. 2010, 2011, the quarterfinals. 2016, 2017, the group stage. 2017, 2018, the round of 16. The big one, 2018, 29, the final. 2019, 2020, round of 16, and 22, 23, round of 16. I believe the 2010-11 was Harry Redknapp, and we lost to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
that was right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I remember being I really enjoyed the Spurs team under Harry, to be honest with you. Eventually, of course, if you remember back then, Jose, is like just getting to the Champions League was like the holy grail for us.
We beat Man City 1-0.
That's right.
And it was Crouchy that got the goal in the 84th minute or something. It was really late on in the game. Got the goal up at their gaff. That meant that we qualified for the Champions League. And
it was such a big thing because we've been knocking on the door so many years prior with the whole Lazani gate and everything stopping us.
See, getting fourth then was like getting a trophy because it got us into the Champions League for that season.
Yeah.
Right? But top four should not be treated as a trophy thereafter that season, in my eyes.
Do you think what happened in that year? Because I do remember that. Like I say, I was very fond of that Tottenham team. Do you think that because we were knocking on the door for so many years without being able to get through, do you think that the Holy Grail was like, oh, well, now it's a stepping stone and now we'll go for the title? Because the idea was, well, now we're going to be able to bring in all these players, all these world-class players, like we're seeing the other teams do. Now we're finally going to get these world-class players and we're going to be able to push on. And we didn't really. And then we sold
a load of players. A load of players that got us to a load of players because what you've got to realise is that we made the Champions League in 10-11, as you can see on the screen there. Yeah. But following elimination from that same year in 2011, obviously we didn't finish in the top four. Can't remember where we finished, but we didn't finish in the top four because we didn't qualify for the Champions League for another 5 years after that. It was 6 years even. Right. Yeah. So that team that we had in 10-11 would have been broken up and we would have sold players on because we didn't get to challenge for the league. We couldn't have challenged for the league because we didn't qualify again for 6 years. So we couldn't have challenged for the league. And then the team gets broken up. So for me, getting to the Champions League in 2010 or finishing the season 2009-10, getting to the Champions League would have been something that we would all, as fans, look forward to because the Champions League has started. We never competed in it. It started. You had to be in that top four to get it. We got into the top four, and we were all happy to get into the top four and be in the Champions League that year. But then, like I said, thereafter, that team that played in that Champions League run, it got completely
dismantled, wasn't it?
Yeah, dismantled through players being sold on. Dismantled through age as well, because some players were aging and had to be moved on. But then we got rid of some big time players from that squad as well and sold them on to other clubs. So, for me back then, getting fourth was like winning a trophy because it's the first time we'd ever done it. But that was the only year that I'm going to turn around and say it was like a trophy if I'm going to be going down that route, which I don't go down that route. But if I'm going to subscribe to that, I'd say that was the only year for me.
I agree. I think the first year, the first time being able to be in that top tier competition, playing the teams that we did. I mean, we got to the quarterfinals, which isn't that bad, and we went out to Real Madrid. So we went out to one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah,
especially that team at the time.
At the end of the day, right? Whatever happens, I don't know. I'm again, but you're fucking making me think now because I'm going back 14 years now. So I don't recall, right? I don't recall anyone in that I knew that as a Tottenham supporter was upset about getting fourth that year. I think everybody that I know that was a Tottenham supporter wanted to get into the top four because they wanted to have Champions League. They wanted to see our beloved club play pitched up against the best teams. It's all right winning the UEFA Cup and that, right? Because we know we've won the UEFA and stuff like that. But you're now in the Premier Cup, and we got a run for our money that year, 2010 and 11. So as I said, for me, get qualifying for that the season before with the Crouchy goal and that. I think, as I said, I don't know a Tottenham supporter that wasn't delighted that we'd finished in the top 4 and qualified. Thereafter, for me, top 4 is not a trophy. It's not a trophy, and it shouldn't be something that we're, as fans. I don't think that we're ultra proud of top 4. It's not what we're after. It's not what we crave. Do you know what I mean? And that's even me as an older fan, because you're younger than me, and I've seen a lot more trophies, if you like, than you have.
Yeah.
And but for me, I mean, it's difficult because to me things go hand in hand, Tequila. So if this year, right, if this year we won the if we finished 9th in the league, but we won the Europa League,
Yeah.
next season we're in the Champions League.
That's right.
By
Yep,
virtue
that's
of winning the Europa League. Yeah, we're in the Champions League. So you haven't finished in the top 4, you finished 9th, but you've won a trophy which we all crave for, and that gets you Europe, that gets you Champions League football. Now, if you win the FA Cup, yes, we've won a trophy, but then if you're looking in the longer run of it, you win a trophy, and I'll be happy with an FA Cup. It's a trophy that we win, but then the winner of the FA Cup goes into the Europa League. So everything's relative. If you win the Carabao Cup, I don't even know where you go anymore.
I think you go into the Conference League. I think.
Well, the Conference League was given to someone that finished 7th or 8th or whatever.
That's because
because United won the FA Cup, so they
Yeah.
went into the Europa League. So the next team down ended up going into, say, Chelsea ended up dropping down a place. So, but bearing in mind that the Carabao Cup was won last year, and the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup was won by Man City, weren't it? And Man City were already in the Champions League.
Yeah.
They already qualified for the Champions League. So I don't know exactly what happens there, but at the end of the day, I understand that, and the part that I do understand is that if you do end up in the top 4 in the league, supposedly you attract a better player. Supposedly your budget becomes bigger for a spend. But in all honesty, for me, I want the team to finish as high as possible. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But what's important for me is that we go out, compete in every competition, and I'd like to win a trophy. Now, winning a trophy, the hardest trophy to win out of all of these, right, is the league, because the league is where you deserve to be after 38 games. In a cup, I'm going to take Europe out of the equation now.
There's a lot more randomness, isn't there?
Yeah, in the cup, you've got the FA Cup, you've got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round, quarters, semis, final. Right. So I think to win the FA Cup, you've got to win 7 games, right? To win the what's the other cup called? The Carabao, because we're in Europe this season, we come in the 3rd round, and I think you win 6 games if you win the Carabao Cup. You've played 6 games, right? So for them, there's lots of different variables for the cups, because with the cups, it depends on, like anything else, it depends on availability of your players. It depends on how serious you take it as a manager on picking sides. Now, we do know that everybody in the all the big clubs in the FA Cup 3rd round, it's not what it used to be. Back in the day, people would stick their strongest sides out. It was the FA Cup. But now, with all these amount of games of football that are being played, all the big boys all stick weaker teams out in the 3rd and 4th round of the FA Cup. They do a similar thing in the Carabao Cup. So to win these cups, you need luck, right, with injuries. You need a manager that will pick strong sides, right? You need luck with the draws of the teams that you play against, whether you're playing home or away, and what teams you get. So you need luck of the draw. To win any trophy, you're going to need a bit of luck. The only one you don't need luck with is the league, because that's based over 38 games.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it?
Yeah. But for me, I would like to give it a go. I'd like to see Tottenham give it a go in every competition, all 4 that we're in this season.
Well, what do you think the most realistic? I mean, we'll take the league out of it because we know that. But out of the cups, which is the most realistic? Do you think?
If we take it seriously, I think all 3 are on the table. I think we've got as good a chance as anyone else on winning any of them 3 cups. It just depends, as I said, it depends on the virtue of availability of players. It depends on who we select, and that it depends on mentality, depends on form. It's all and depends who you get in draws. But there's no reason that I think we've got an equal opportunity in all 3. The only with the Europa League though, cool, you've got to play a fair few games, haven't you, in the Europa League to win that now, because you've got 8 teams in the group stages. Then you've got a last 16 to play. If you
Yeah,
qualify,
so it starts as a league, doesn't it? And it starts
yeah,
as a league and then
yeah.
goes into
So
single elimination.
the top eight of in the league of 32, the top 8 will go straight to the 16s, last 16. Anyone that finishes from 9th to 24th will then play off against each other, and the 8 winners of the playoff games go into the last 16. So you're already looking at, I mean, I don't even know whether the playoffs are 2 legs, but they normally will be. So you're looking at 8 group games. If you qualify straight for the 16, there's another 2 games. That makes it 10. If you're in the quarterfinals, it's another 2 games. That makes it 12. Semi-finals, another 2 games. That makes it 14. And in the final itself, 15 games to win the Europa League as a minimum. I would turn around and say that, you know, the odds are that they're in favour of the other 2 cups rather than the Europa League. But I'd like to see Tottenham give it a go in all 3.
Interesting.
Sorry about that, lads. Just had something I had to sort out here, so I do apologise. Leaving you in the middle of that, Tequila, I do apologise. Sorry about that.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, big up Super Tottenham TV. Hi, Dermot and panel. Big up. Look, I just want to go through this now. For winning the FA Cup, right? This is the prize money. For winning the FA Cup, you get 2 million, and you get $1 million for runners-up. For the League Cup, you only get $1 million for winning it. The champions get 100,000. Runners-up get 50,000. So the total prize money is only $1 million. So there's not a lot there. Now, this is nitty-gritty. If you finish 4th in the league, it's 37.4 million. To finish in 5th, 35.2 million. So you do get more for finishing 4th. And I think it's 2.2 million. 2.2 million more. But the prize money between 24-25 to 21-22, as you can see, has gone up. Well, it's gone up for winning. It has gone up. Now, finishing 4th, it's 151.7 million to 146.1 million. To 5th place, 151.6 million to 145.7 million. For the Europa League, as Jose just explained, you get 7 million for winning it, and I think for being in it, you get 7 million. But winning it, you get 6 million. So if you get to the final, you get a 7 million sort of being there. Thank you for being there, guys. But you get a 6 million for winning it. So there's good money to be made in the Europa League, I think. But this is where I think the kicker is. For the Champions League, you get 18.5 million just for getting to the final. And then you get 6.5 million to winning it. So the Champions League, this is why I think Daniel Levy. So if you're looking at growth and infrastructure, if you're looking at, where was the question I had on this now? Here we go. Does the top 4, if you look at the money you get there for winning that, getting to a final, say we did, and we got that amount of money, and winning an FA Cup, does top 4 finishers enhance the club's reputation more than, say, like winning the FA Cup? Tequila?
I think internationally, yes. It might not, maybe less so, maybe with English players, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, when it comes to reputation. But I think the Champions League obviously is seen a lot more around the world. Although I know it used to be that the FA Cup used to be the most watched. If I'm wrong, guys, like I say, you guys have been watching longer than me. I believe the FA Cup used to be the kind of like the most watched football tournament, but obviously that's been taken over now with the whole Champions League. So from a reputation standpoint, for players from other countries, then it probably is going to be the Champions League. Yeah, you want to be known as a Champions League club because people,
as a national cup, Tequila, the FA Cup is the most watched out of a national cup. So if you look at the national cups in all countries, the FA Cup it dwarfs everybody in viewership and that. But the FA Cup, I don't know whether it dwarfed the old European Cup back in the day, but it definitely was. It's one of those that used to be on BBC, and BBC used to farm it out all around the world.
Yeah.
The FA Cup.
Yeah, they do. Big up to Hot God 10, another member. Big up to you. Good evening,
Big up,
Dermot.
mate.
Chat, please do pick up your memberships. Do hit the like button. Do hit the subscription button. We're on the road to 2K, so let's get there. Tequila says this is why many clubs don't care about domestic cups. The money is peanuts compared to European football, and he is right. It is peanuts. Look. When you're talking about money, right, and the financial and the FFP and everything, right? There's the significant financial rewards associated with qualifying for UEFA Champions League. That includes TV rights, sponsorship, and matchday revenue. Does that make it more appealing to the likes of Daniel Levy instead of winning a cup competition? Is this why top four, and it's not just Tottenham, it's Aston Villa, it's Newcastle, it's all the other clubs. Is this why all these clubs, top 6, 7 clubs, are taking the Champions League more seriously than, say, winning a League Cup or an FA Cup, Jose?
So for me, what you've shown on screen a minute ago, right, about that was prize money. So apart from the prize money, you're also gonna make money from your
revenue.
And make money from your gate receipts and stuff like that per game. So every time you've got a home game, you're going to make money because that money is going to be 100% your revenue because it's at your stadium. Back in the day, I'm not sure now, but back in the day, you used to get a small percentage, even if you were away. You'd get some, I don't know whether it's gate receipts or whether it's some TV money, but you got a small percentage. But at home, you get absolutely everything. So, so when you've got more games in Europe, like they've got now, so they've gone from 3 group games, you're now guaranteed 4 group games at home. It'll be more revenue for you as well. But to me, it's about winning a trophy. But again, you've got this argument, and I don't know what side of the fence to sit on, because you've got people that say, but if you finish in the top 4 and you're guaranteed to play Champions League football, then you can get you obviously you get more money for the higher position in the league that you finish, or 2.2 million, because it seems to be in increments of 2.2. But you get you get the money you get for finishing the league. Then you're going to get guaranteed income from if you're in the Champions League, and because of that and all the gate receipts that come with it, it means that your budget should be higher to spend on players, and you should be able to attract players or better players to your club because you're playing in that competition. But then, by the same token as well, by attracting better players, if you don't attract the right kind of better player, then they're only going to be a mercenary that comes to your club, takes the money, and then runs. So regardless of what happens to you at the end of that season in the Champions League, if you're in it, then they're gonna cut and run anyway. So it's a really difficult one. I mean, I would rather, and I made a point that you was away, I would rather win a trophy than finish in the top 4. For me, it's about winning the trophy.
I would, because can I just say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you, but can I just say, if you do win the Europa League, you get into the Champions League anyway.
But you've got to play 15 games to win the Europa League, and where I think cup games are not decided like a league, Dermot, where it's 38 games. You deserve to be where you're after 38 games.
Yeah.
With a cup, you need a lot of luck, because you do need the luck of the draw. You need the luck of availability of players, and there's a lot of different things. But an FA Cup would be far easier to win than the Europa League, because you're only playing 7 games in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
But to win the Europa League, you need 15 games.
Yeah, so that beggars it then, Tequila, then, is the Europa League the Super League? That brings up that question. Is this UEFA bowing down to the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, all the teams that went into the Super League? Is this UEFA's way of saying, all right, guys, we'll give you what you want. We're going to give you more money. Here you go. Stuff everyone else. It's all about the top elite clubs. So has the Europa League and the Champions League become the Super League?
It's probably appeased them to a certain degree. It's probably cooled their jets for a while. I say for a while because I don't know if it will be enough. I think the Super League is still something that could happen, but this has probably delayed it, I'd say, for a while. And as for the whole top four trophy thing, the thing that I'm a bit not confused at, but Daniel Levy, I don't think is an idiot, and I do believe that he probably has a lot of, I joke and call them goons, but let's just say personal assistants, who go to chat rooms and get the general vibe of how the your customers, as he calls them, are feeling. So if I'm Daniel Levy and I want to stay at Tottenham as long as possible and milk it for as much as I can, I badly want to win a trophy, because if I win a trophy, that gets a lot of people off my back. There will always be some. There will always be some. But a lot of people, if we were to win a trophy this year, anyway, any of the three, then these Levy outers, there'd still be some, but a lot less, and we'll get a lot of heat off Daniel, and we'll buy him a lot longer as being the chairman. So if I'm him, I tell my manager, I understand the league. We want to get top four, but win us a cup, mate. I want to get them off my back. I'm surprised he doesn't take it a bit more seriously for that reason alone.
And also, if you look at the last three chairmen, Scholar won 2 trophies. Alan Sugar won 1 trophy, the 99 League Cup, and Daniel Levy's won 1 trophy. So if he wins another trophy, he beats Alan Sugar. As you say, he gets the fans off his back for a while, and he will get a lot of fans off his back. And then when you win something, as Jose knows myself with the early 80s side, that breeds confidence. That breeds right. If we can win this, we can win that competition. We've got the confidence of doing it. We've got the confidence of winning the final. So success leads to success, breeds confidence within the group. And that's what Keith Birkinshaw had. He was at Tottenham 6 years before he won his first major trophy and got the team relegated in his first season, by the way. So, do you know, if we got rid of Keith Birkinshaw after he got us relegated, we wouldn't have had the success we had under him. So we would have gone to a longer period of not winning the trophy till we got to 91. So, you know, it's all about picking the right manager at the right time, in the league. And I think Ange is. So look, then Jose, then this question, and this is for everyone in the chat as well, guys. So why does Daniel Levy prioritise finishing in the top 4 over winning domestic cups at Tottenham for Tottenham? Forget about the money, right? I know Champions League's worth millions, but what's he got against of us going to Wembley?
Right, I can't categorically turn around and say factually that Levy's doing this and saying, you know, we got to forego cups for 4th place. I understand the argument, though, that people say, well, financially it's better for Tottenham and it's better for Levy, blah blah blah. I understand the argument, but none of us know, because none of us sit at the top table and get told or hear the words come out of his mouth to say, you can't win a cup, you got to be top 4. Now, with that same argument, what I'll say is a bit like Tequila said a minute ago, and you said it as well, right? The one thing Tottenham supporters are screaming out for is a trophy.
Yeah.
And the hope that one trophy leads to us competing for more trophies, year in, year out. And now even if we didn't win, we compete, we come closer. And closer means you're reaching quarters, semis, finals on a regular occurrence, right? That's what the supporter wants. Now, I say to myself that if Tottenham won a trophy this season, I would say that the fan base would be absolutely ecstatic. Will they lay off Levy? I'm not sure they would, because what the expectation will then move to is what I just alluded to, that we need to then be competing for trophies season in, season out. But they'd go a long way for the fan base itself. Forget about broadsheets and spreadsheets and financial like profit and loss margins and that. It'll go a long way for Tottenham if they win a cup this season. It'll go a long way for the fans. It'll go a long way. Now, I don't think Levy gets a stay of execution. I think that Levy, the fan base, especially the ones that are that way towards Levy, they will just see it as, okay, we've won one. We're really happy for the club. Not happy for Levy. We're happy for our club that we've won a trophy. Now we want to see more of this. We want to see more of this. That's what's going to be next. But we need to take that step of winning a trophy first. And I want it to be this year. But then I want it to be every year that we play.
But there is a fine balance, isn't there, Tequila, of pushing your boat out all for winning the trophy and sacrificing your league position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Levy's probably ever said to a manager, "Oh, make sure you don't win that trophy." It's like, no, mate, you prioritize. And to be honest, all the managers, with the exception probably of Jose, and that's probably where the problem came in, are probably going to say, well, I doubt, probably actually Conte probably wouldn't have liked that either. But most of the managers are going to say, sure thing, boss. And that doesn't mean they're particularly their yes men, but they're employed. You remember, they're employed. The managers are employees of the club. Yeah. If the club says to them, you prioritize the league, then that's what you do. You prioritize the league. You might not want to, but that's why, you're employed. And maybe, and with Conte and Jose, with the bigger reputations they have, maybe they felt they could push that. With Ange, with all due respect, he hasn't got the CV of a Conte or Jose Mourinho, so he's probably much less likely to bite back at that. So it's a bit unfortunate because I do think Levy probably will say prioritize the league. So that will make it harder for us to win a trophy. Do I agree with it? Of course not. I want to win a trophy like the rest of you, but Levy will prioritize the money because he's a businessman first and foremost.
Is that the problem then? If you look at Man United, they have footballing men now in footballing. They've got footballing people in footballing jobs, where Tottenham have business people in footballing jobs, where the likes of Man United, with Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe, he's brought in people that know football, and they're running the football side. The Glazers are just running the business side. I'd be very happy if somebody came into Tottenham and say, right, Daniel, we're going to buy whatever. We're going to buy Joe Lewis's shares because we know he wants to sell. So I want to buy Joe Lewis to sell. We're going to run the football side. You run the business side. And we're going to put footballing people into footballing jobs. Use the ex-professionals, the ex-Tottenham pros that have won stuff. Use them. They've got the experience of winning stuff. Use them within the club structure. Like Man United did. Man United had Bobby Charlton on the board. He's Man United through and through. They had ex-players on the board as well, I think, during that time at United. United have always used their ex-players to one way or the other within the structure of the football club. And we at Tottenham should do that within the structure of the football club. We should have footballing people dealing with footballing matters and let Daniel Levy, who's very good at business, deal with the business side, deal with the keeping the club afloat, making sure there's money there that the club are, going even, and leave the footballing side to footballing people who know what they're doing. And I think that's the way Tottenham should go. I don't know what you guys think, but personally, I think that's the way we should go, personally.
Well, with Man United, with Ineos coming in and that, it remains to be seen whether it's the right moves that they've made or not. Because at the moment, personally, I think there's been a lot of shocking decisions that have been made since Ineos have come in. And there's a lot of turmoil at that club with what Ineos have done with all the releasing of staff. They've released a hell of a lot of staff. They're the players that they've brought in, I'm not too sure about with the players that they've brought in as well. So it remains to be seen. Ineos is still in its infancy. What they've been there a season, possibly 2 seasons. So it remains to be seen what's done.
They only came in last season.
Okay.
They only came in, last season.
So last season. So is this their second season then?
First full season.
Okay, so it remains to be seen what they then do. With Tottenham, and I hear what you're saying, Dermot, but with Tottenham, the only way that you're going to bring footballing people back in is if you bring footballing people back in that are going to be yes people, right? Because to be honest, if you look at people like Steve Perryman, Perryman's Tottenham through and through, and Levy won't have him at the club.
No,
you see Steve Perryman talk about it on his own podcast.
Yeah, I
Levy
know.
won't have him at the club because he's outspoken about the club and outspoken about Levy. You
Is
look
that
at
the
someone
reason,
like,
Jose?
yeah,
Is that the
yeah,
reason?
yeah. You look at someone like Ramon Vega, and he wasn't the best player at Tottenham, but Ramon Vega doesn't get invited back, and Ramon Vega makes it clear it's because I'm not in agreement with what some of the things that Levy does, and
Now,
because he's not a yes man, he's not invited back to the club either. So you've got to be a yes person. Not only you football, but if you're a yes person, like Ledley King probably thinks there's a lot of shocking things going on, but Ledley King won't speak up against the club. Neither will Gary Mabbott. Neither will Mickey Hazard. All these players, you can watch them all, and you can watch them in interviews and everything. Not one of them says anything about the club. They dare not to, because otherwise they lose their jobs. Because
well,
they've got to be yes people. But behind closed doors, I bet my last penny that they're not happy with a lot of stuff that goes on.
when I was at the AC Milan game, the last quarter-final in the Champions League, they did have Steve Perriman there on the pitch being interviewed on that game. So he does do the odd appearance at Tottenham now and again. They were interviewing him because it was some anniversary, I think, of European night, and he was talking about Bill Nick, and he was talking about the Anderlecht game, and that the night that the fans, it was the last night he said the fans and the players were united as one. And I agree with him. And I watch his podcast a lot. He is very outspoken about the club, but he does love the club. He does love Tottenham. He's Mr. Tottenham for me. He's my skipper, and he always will be my skipper. But I get what you're saying, Jose. I do. I get what you're saying. There is players that Raymond Vega's very outspoken about Levy. And yeah, I do think I think there is a majority of yes people, but I just think the way that anyone else has done it, I think it's the model which way football clubs will be run in the future. I really do, and I think Levy's not going to sell unless he gets the money he wants for the club. So you're going to have somebody to come in to do what they did. They started buying stakes within Tottenham in 1991 when Alan Sugar bought Tottenham. They bought a small stake. And within then 10 years or 11 years he was at the club, they bought more and more and more and more and more to the point where they bought him out. And then they officially bought him out. I think it was in 2004, 2005. They bought full control of Tottenham. I think I can't remember the exact date. Listen, this is gonna be the last question, guys. Look, I don't want to be I want to be trying to be balanced with this last question. So the last one is balancing fan. Does Levy have? There's two questions to this, right? Firstly, does Levy face pressure from stakeholders to ensure the club remains financially robust, which top four finish can help? So I'll give that one to you, Jose, and then I'll give the other one to you, Tequila, if that's okay. So,
okay.
Does he face pressure then? Is there pressure on him to say, right, we want top four every season? Is there pressure from the people above him, his stakeholders, to say, we want top four? And then he's got to go out and get that. So is there pressure on him to provide that for his stakeholders and the people that are board members and people around him?
I don't know who the stakeholders are, to be honest. And I know some of the board members. But for me, the whole train is run. The whole train, conductor, driver, station master, the whole lot for me is Levy. I don't think anybody makes any decisions above Levy. I think Levy does what Levy wants, and Levy will carry on doing what he needs to do. I don't think he listens to anybody but himself. And if people don't fall in line with what he does, they probably fall by the wayside. I think people are silent and probably just clap to him and say, yes, Dan, yes, Dan, yes, Daniel, yes, Daniel. So, and I don't know who he reports into, and I really don't. I don't know who he reports into. And as for stakeholders, the stakeholders may well be a lot of his family members.
Oh, we don't know. It was just a question that I thought I'd ask. So it was just something I come up with when I was putting the show together.
As I said, I think Levy does what he wants to do, mate. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really do. I think he does what he wants to do, and I don't think anybody crosses swords with Levy at all in the boardroom.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with you on that. Then for you, Tequila, the last one for you: risk management and avoiding financial losses. Right? Does Levy's cautious approach to ensuring the club remains in the top 4 damage the club's competitive edge to winning trophies?
Yeah, significantly, because I think Daniel Levy is risk evasive, and I think that can work very well for you in business. But on a football pitch, I think it's been proven. I can think of at least 2 or 3 times, and I'm probably missing some, when we could have and should have gone the extra mile, and we chose not to. We chose not to push it that little bit more.
Yeah.
Harry Redknapp, I remember the 2 players he asked for that Daniel Levy did not provide, when he was like, yeah, we can really push it this season. We might not win a title, but maybe we can actually do a bit better than 4th, and Levy didn't give him that. And more evidence regarding Pochettino. Those 3 transfer windows, I think it was 3 or 4, where we didn't buy anyone. Levy sat on his, thought, well, we're already good enough. We don't need to push on. And it's ended up being that actually cost us in the long run, because we didn't push on when we should have. And we allowed other teams to catch us back up. So it's been proven time and again that Levy will invest. The numbers show that he will invest, but only so much. Only to get us to a certain level. And if you look at the actual prize money, that should tell you all you need to know. The prize money is about 7 million difference between finishing 1st and finishing 4th. If you're Daniel Levy and you don't care about trophies, why do you care if you finish 4th or 2nd if it's only going to be like 6 or 7 million? Are you going to invest 200 million extra in players to finish 1st or 2nd to challenge for the title, when you can just get 4th because that's all you need?
I look for... Yeah, I get what you're saying, and it's probably makes... You are right in what you're saying, Dikini. You can't disagree in what you've just said. I think my view in it all is I'm more probably of an romantic, where trophies mean more to me than top 4. I'd rather finish 7th or 8th and win a Europa League or an FA Cup or a League Cup. That would mean more to me. Top 4 doesn't mean anything to me.
Or me, really. I prefer to get a trophy as well, dude. I'm not saying this is what I want. I'm saying how I think he looks at it.
And look, in my view, it's a case of, look, yeah, get the Champions League. It's great. But that sort of lasts more than 5 minutes. If you win a trophy, that lasts the whole summer. You're out there. Say if you win an FA Cup, you were the best team in that tournament. If you're lucky enough, which 40 years ago we won our last European trophy, the UEFA Cup, that's even better, because you get to play in the Super Cup then at the start the following season against the Champions League winners, which is a great day out in itself. We're going to finish with this comment here. Keith Birkinshaw left Spurs after winning the UEFA Cup. 40 years ago, he left the club in 1984. And the reason was there used to be a football club over there. That statement, he never actually said that. That statement was taken out in context. He said it in later years. It was somebody in the press said that, not him. He never said that, but somebody in the press said he left because Ivan Scholar was getting too involved in picking the team. And he was ringing them up day and night. This player needs to be in. That is why Keith Birkinshaw left. He didn't want to leave, but he left because of Ivan Scholar was getting too involved. But that comment, there used to be a football club over there, that actually came from the press, not him. So I only learned that the other day, funnily enough. But he says, well, there, and he's right. After leaving, we've only gone on to win 3 trophies in 40 years. It is shocking. When you look at it that way, 3 years, 3 trophies in 40 years under 3 different ownerships is shocking. It really is. It is shocking. It is shocking. And that's not just Levy, that's down to Sugar, and that's down to Ivan Scholar, who actually nearly put the club out of existence.
And when you think about it as well, in those 40 years, is it any surprise that some of the younger generation and even some of the middle ages like myself are kind of like, we're told we're a big club and everything, and history says, but we don't win anything.
No.
So spare a thought for Newcastle.
Exactly, and Villa
and
for a long time.
Yeah, Villa have been 40 odd years as well. But and Newcastle 60 odd years, and there are teams that we'd like to call ourselves big clubs, and stuff like that. But what are we? What is a big club? Is a big club someone that wins things? Is a big club someone that holds the most in their stadium? You know, what determines what a big club is? Because there's a lot of, in my eyes, there's a lot of big clubs. There's big clubs that don't even play in the Premiership. So
it's a combination of things.
yeah,
Jose,
how do you
isn't it?
how do you determine it? Do you know
It's a
what I mean? 'Cause
combination of
as I said,
things.
there are a lot of clubs that are not in the Premiership that to me are big
Maybe I
clubs.
got it wrong, but Cooper says Berkshire quote is from a reporter using creative license, so I was right. When interviewing him, Burko said later that although he didn't say it, it was something he wished he had, and the statement was 100%. So, yeah, that's true. Simply Ace says I would take 17th in the League Cup, no problem.
Agreed. It's totally
Let me
agreed.
ask a little cheeky question, Simply Ace. Would you take 18th and a cup?
Oh, you're just going one day.
It's an interesting thing. Would you take a relegation and an FA Cup?
Now you're just talking pure nonsense.
I'll tell you what I would, but we're never going to get relegated.
I know.
We're not a team. We're not a team that's
I know.
bad enough to get
I
relegated.
know. I'm just pulling the chain, Simply Ace.
But yeah, but
chain.
I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say yes because we get a trophy. I'd say yes because we'll only go and get a second trophy the following season by winning the championship.
There you go. At least we'll get we'll win a championship.
At least we get brought back for the Charity Shield the following Cinders. Please do pick up your memberships as well if you can. Please do that. Do hit the like button. Do hit the subscription button as well. Jose, where can people find you, sir?
I put your link in the chat already, mate. So I have put it there for you.
Okay, I can be found there at Eltel Cockerel.
Yeah.
And my name is Jose. My name is Jose, but no.
Contrary to disbelief, it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Dermot, and thank you, Tequila, for having me on. Thank you to everyone in the chat for contributing to the show. It's you guys that make the show by putting in your contributions and all your questions and all your thoughts and that. And it's what gets our engines, i.e. our minds, ticking. So thank you very much, everyone. And thank you two chaps on the screen.
I'm sorry I had to pop off. I had a bit of an emergency here. Something was going on in my area, so I had to deal with that. So Tequila and Jose, I do apologise for leaving you in the lurch.
Yeah, no worries.
That's fine,
as
mate,
well, no, I apologise, Tequila. I did leave you sort of on this. I did sort of WhatsApp you, man. But yeah, where can people find you, Tottenham Stig? Or the Spurs Stig?
Find me on this great channel with you guys. And obviously I've got the Play Pouch, which is my little gaming channel, which we do show or so a week on the gaming industry. So check it out, please, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to end on this note. Some say the Spurs stick at Philip Brady. We will never know.
I may have, and I may have actually put him in the fridge so I can feed myself for a long time.
Just to let you guys know, Philip is taking a bit of a break from the channel. He's still going to do the pre-records for us guys, but for live shows, he's taking a bit. He's getting a bit more workload at work, and also his daughter is getting married as well, so he will be not around for a little while.
Big up, Philip.
Big up, Philip. And look, thank you, Philip. He was there at the rebirth of the channel, and but thank you all. Spurs Dig, thank you as always. When are we on again? Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock?
Yes, it is 8 o'clock tomorrow. Yes, that's right. Yeah. We're
going to talk about the transfer window. It's called The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown.
Dun, 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 dun.
So that's what we're going to talk about. Milk Spurs TV, big up everyone, up the leader whites, up the Spurs. Big up the Milk as well. Big up the panel and everyone in the chat. Smash the like. Super Tottenham, great show, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carl says, I would take 20th, win the Europa League, FA Cup and League Cup. See, there you go. I'm with Carl.
I only said one trophy, Carl. Now you're just getting greedy, man.
Yeah. I wanted to ask one question. And it was on my list. I'm going to ask this now before we leave. Will Ange be at Tottenham at the start of next season? And it's just a yes or no. Tequila?
Yes.
No.
Yes. So yes.
And this isn't me that's not me desiring it for the record. That's not me saying I want it.
Do you know what? It's small margins, man. Small margins. That's all it is at the moment. It's small margins. Yes, I agree that small margins have got to turn into our favour, right? Yeah. They've got to turn into our favour. We need Solanke back or Richarlison or a combination of both. So we've got a number 9 and then all we need to do is start finishing our dinner. We
Yeah.
sharpen up at the other end, because Anne just said defensively he hasn't got a problem. It's the
front three.
The front three is where he said we had a problem last season. So we've got a man in, a man who we believe is going to be on the pitch a lot more than Richarlison is, and yet he got injured.
Hope so. Yeah.
Well,
That's just typical Spurs. He wasn't injured for Bournemouth at all, and first he gets here, and then right.
Anyway, to finish off, Kuva has the last word of the stream. He goes, "I'm disappointed with Tequila. Had the chance to handshake the stream and turn it into Dungeons and Dragons.
That'll be on Sunday, Kuva. That'll be on Sunday.
Didn't take the chance. Big up everyone saying yes. Ange will be here next season. No more panic-stricken, sick and tired of seeing another restart. Same here. I agree, Carl. Look, I'm going to do a pre-record on my thoughts on Ange. That will be out probably. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Be out for tomorrow afternoon. Me and Tequila, of course, are back with the good, the bad, and the unknown. We're going to go over the whole transfer window, not just at Tottenham. Every other club. We're gonna cover the lot. And also, we've got a big game this weekend. Ireland are playing England. So on Saturday, we've got all the build up for that. Me and Tequila will be doing the watch along with Bobby, and I'm sure Bobby will bring somebody on.
What time's the kickoff? What time's the kickoff on Saturday?
5:30.
5:30 kickoff. Okay. All
right. So any England fans that are coming over, I just want to make one request. Can you please leave the seats where they are? Our football association is broke. We cannot afford to repair them. So if you can leave the seats within the stadium, we would appreciate it. I hope you will. So thank you very much. Because what happened the last
Demo, we're all broke. We're all broke over here. We'll probably take the seats and sell them.
I've got a feeling that you won't get the element going over there like you did in the past, because they now take the passports off them all, don't they? And if they know there's going to be trouble, they'll take their passports off them again, won't they? So they won't be able to travel.
Just don't mess with the Irish guards. That's all I'm going to. I am only bantering with you lads. I'm not being serious. It's only a bit of banter. I'm looking forward to the game. I am so looking forward to Ireland are going to win. We're going to smash England. We're going to turn up. We're going to beat you 1-0. Of course, the delusional Dermatrons all the way on the Irish train. I've been playing the whole Irish things of a few Irish bits and pieces, but here you go.
Demo, you're going to be head Lee Carsley if he leads us to winning. What are you going to do to him? What will Ireland do to Lee Carsley if he manages England to a win?
I will never mention his name again.
Okay.
But on that bombshell, we're going to leave it there. Jose, thank you so much for coming on.
Cheers, mate.
Get you one. If you're free next week, we'll get you one next Tuesday. We're trying to make this a regular thing.
Today, I happen to be at home. I normally work away Tuesday and Wednesdays.
So wherever you're free, we'll get you one again.
Yeah, okay.
We'll figure it out, mate.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, fantastic.
Anyway, come on, you Spurs. In big Ange we trust. Go on then, Tequila. Give you usual.
Okay. There we go. Coys. Lovely.